Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing really well and welcome back to my podcast, Life of an Artrepreneur, and welcome back to another episode. So seeing as Christmas is around the corner along with the end of the year, I've been kind of reflecting on the past year and just thinking about different things. So I thought in this episode I would talk about things that I might have done differently this year, kind of looking back and reflecting on everything. I think it's really important actually to spend some time sort of reflecting on what you've done over the past year, or just sort of thinking about how you can grow or push yourself for next year so you're constantly improving. So I have made a few notes, like literally bullet points of just the main things that I could think of off the top of my head. The first one that I've written down actually is taking on less commissions. At the minute, I'm probably doing around like 5 commissions a month, maybe like sometimes more, sometimes less, depending on how big the commission is or how small it is. But on average, I'd say around 5 a month. But that's as well as all of my tutorials for Patreon, all of my videos that I create for YouTube. And I think it's a lot to keep on top of. You feel like you're constantly on a never-ending treadmill, and I absolutely love doing commissions. I feel like commissions are like the downtime of all of my work. Like I mainly work on commissions in the evening. I can put something on in the background, put a podcast on, put a bit of Netflix on, get into the drawing zone, and yeah, I do really enjoy commissions, and I feel like I'll never ever cut them out completely. But I think I just want to take on a lot less next year, and I kind of wish I'd done that this year so I'd have more time to build other parts of my business and spend time doing other things that I've kind of always wanted to do or always wanted to start or always wanted to finish, and I've just never got around to doing it because time just goes like that. I feel like at the start of the year when it's January, you think, oh, I've got all this time, like 12 months, I've got loads of time to think about that, and then before you know it, it's December, literally. Because I remember doing my first ever workshop at the Green and Stone Gallery in London in October last year. So the end of last year and the start of this year, I was thinking, right, I want to, put on my own workshop. I want to organise a whole thing. And I did start inquiring at like venues, and I did start planning things. But before you know it, everything got in the way of that. And I did put on a workshop, but it was in October. So it was basically a whole year after I'd done my first one, which looking back annoys me because I feel like I've spent too long like overthinking it almost, and sometimes you just need to not think about it and just do it. The more you kind of ponder over something, the more you can kind of talk yourself out of it. So yeah, even though I'd emailed loads of venues and it didn't work out for whatever reason, I was really happy with where I actually did it at Stanley House. But I think it would have been nice to maybe do one in the summer and then do one in the winter. But things don't always work out as you originally planned, and work things do get in the way. But I'm definitely going to plan another one at Stanley House, I think, for like early next year. And I've got another workshop at the Green and Stone Gallery in January. And I've got another one at a different location in May. So things are already stacking up next year, which is good. But yeah, definitely want to kind of explore the workshop route, I think, a little bit more next year. And I feel like if I'd have done that a bit more this year, then I'd be slightly ahead and more confident and stuff next year. But it's just one of them things. Work stuff gets in the way, and that's what I mean with commissions. I know that I can do commissions well. They're always going to be there. They're always going to be an option. But I think I just need to take on a little bit less so I've got more time to plan and build other parts of my business. And that kind of goes hand in hand with my podcast as well, because I only started my podcast in May. And that was another thing that I thought about at the start of this year or the end of last year. I thought, right, I really want to start a podcast. I knew the name that I wanted to call it for ages as well. I'd planned some episodes. I bought the microphone, and then I'd just not got around to actually sitting down and filming my first episode. I think because there was probably a lot of pressure with my first one, because I was literally like saying my whole entire journey from the start to now. But it's probably another thing that I was like putting too much pressure on myself. I was overthinking it all, and I should have just sat down and started. This is going to be my 33rd episode that I've done this year, so I don't think that's bad going. And I'm definitely going to continue next year as well. I know a lot of you listen every week, which is amazing, and I love all of your comments and stuff every week, and it's a really nice feeling to know that I'm helping other artists or just inspiring them or just having a nice little waffle in the background whilst you're drawing or whatever. But yeah, I do enjoy my podcast. That's definitely something I want to keep doing. I wish I'd done more chats with other artists this year on my podcast. Obviously, I spoke to Shannon Mullen and I spoke to Danielle Verbeeten, both amazing wildlife artists. So next year, I'm definitely going to be speaking to more artists. I think it'd be nice to speak to artists that aren't necessarily colour pencil artists, but are in like the art space and just get their perspective on different topics that I speak about on my podcast. And yeah, just have a good chat with like brand new people, new ideas. I think that'll be a good avenue to explore further next year. I think the ones where I do chat to other people take a bit more planning, because we've obviously got to arrange a time. They're taking time out of their day to come and speak to me on my podcast, which is obviously amazing. Planning all the questions. The preparation does take a little bit longer, I think, and the whole technical side of it is confusing. Since doing my episodes with Shannon and Danielle, I know that the sound quality and like everything wasn't that brilliant. But since recording those episodes, I've found a software that is made for podcasters and for you to have those two-way conversations. So I think I'm going to try that next year, see if that's any better. One thing I wish I did this year, and in other years as well, to be honest, is put myself out there on social media a bit more. Obviously, I do that already a lot. Like, I'm literally speaking to a camera every single week, every single day, pretty much. But I think there's a difference between like my artist vlogs that I put on YouTube, which are very like edited, they're very well put together, compared with just picking up my phone and spontaneously speaking about something on my Instagram story, for example. I feel like a lot of people can relate to this, and it's quite sort of daunting. You feel like you've got to do it in one take, and then you keep watching it and you think, oh no, I can't put that on, and then you delete it. That's what I do anyway. I think you're your worst critic. So if I look like awful and my hair is on top of my head, I just look like I've not had any sleep for 3 weeks, I really don't feel like picking up my camera and talking about something on a story for the world to see. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that, because it's not easy. You always want to present like the best version of yourself, and sometimes it's not always that, but I think it's actually that people can relate to more. Like, you come across as a normal person, people can relate to that, and they'll forget in 2 seconds anyway. Like, I really like watching stories that people have put on that are really chatty and just down to earth, and you can tell that they've literally just picked up the camera and decided to speak about something on the stories. I think in a way they're a bit more like raw and spontaneous and honest, whereas I do show myself quite a lot in reels. But again, just like my YouTube videos and vlogs, they're kind of very well put together and edited. And people want to get to know you on a personal level. So if you're not constantly connecting with your audience via your stories and stuff like that, it's more difficult for them to relate to you and remember you, really. So I do think that's really important, and that's definitely something that I'm going to push myself to do next year even more. I've done it a few times this year, but nowhere near as much as I should be doing. So yeah, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to try not to stress too much about what I actually look like, and just literally film it, don't think about it, post it, and be done with it. Because you can definitely overthink it way too much, and it's definitely not easy. You need some sort of self-confidence to do that in the first place, and it's quite daunting knowing that like thousands of people or hundreds of people are going to be watching your stories. But yeah, I guess that's what people relate to the most. So yeah, I'm definitely going to do that next year, and I've said it now, so I have to. It's literally on camera. Another thing that I've written down is to give myself more time to do things and not try and cram everything in. Because I think it's very easy as an artist to sort of explore all these different avenues, but then you end up spreading yourself too thin, and you're doing everything like at an okay standard, but you're not really excelling in one thing. So like I said at the start about reflecting on everything that you've done this year, really think about the things that you've enjoyed and what you want to take forward or pursue more or develop more. And I think it's fine to stop doing some of the other things. And like I said, you know, you're going to give yourself more time to do the things that you enjoy. So I definitely want to pursue my tutorials, podcast, workshops, and cut down massively on commissions. One thing I've definitely realised this year is if I go travelling, or like I've been away for say 2 weeks, I think it's very easy for me to get massively behind, because I'm literally a one-man band doing everything, and it is difficult no matter how much you schedule things and plan things for when you get back, because I'm literally physically not here doing the work day in day out, whether that's editing, tutorials, getting back to people, commissions, filming, posting stuff. Like, it's just, if you're not there doing it all the time, you can very quickly get behind. So I think going into next year, I'm going to be a little bit more selective with the opportunities that I do take on. I also think that I've had some amazing opportunities this year as well, which I've literally said yes to everything, because obviously I'm on my journey, I'm excited, I want to kind of dip my toe into everything and just experience everything. Like I had an amazing magazine feature with the Artists and Illustrators magazine earlier this year. I had a really exciting collaboration with Wix. I've just done like different bits of things, but I think if you say yes to everything, again, it's that time element. Time's precious and you don't have to say yes to everything is what I've realised. I think this year's definitely been a turning point. Like it's not sustainable for me to carry on working to absolute maximum capacity because I want to be able to go on holiday and not feel guilty about it when I get back. And I do want to travel a little bit more and not have my business suffer or for me to get really, really behind. I want that nice balance. So next year I'm going to work just as hard, but just try and work a little bit smarter. Any opportunities that I get next year, I'm going to think about it first rather than just saying yes, yes, yes to everything. Because I've realised that it is okay to say no to things and you need to prioritise different parts of your work and think about if it fits in with your whole brand and what you're doing, whether that's a brand collaboration, whatever it is. So the last point that I've written down is to focus more on short form content. I think this year I've really tried to push YouTube, and obviously that's a lot of long form content. I know a lot of you like my longer vlogs that are nearly like an hour long, but they take me quite a long time to structure, film, like remember to film whilst I'm getting on with day-to-day stuff. And they do take me quite a long time to edit as well. So I probably only upload like one artist vlog every month, maybe two if I'm feeling very productive. But on average, probably one a month is realistic. But I'd love to sort of make my artist vlogs, but in a short form video. As much as I love Instagram over TikTok, I think that the way that things are heading, TikTok's getting a lot of popularity. Everyone's sort of using that platform. And you can be creative with it. So the other day, Conrad came round. We had a little brainstorm about all these different hooks that we could do at the start, and we filmed for about an hour and a half. Little bits that I could use for the start of Reels, which might seem so silly, but if one pops off, you can reach so many people. It's ridiculous. And with that, you get more opportunities, you get more of a community, more of an audience. So I think next year, definitely going to focus more on social media growth, short form content, and like quality short form content, because I do upload quite a lot a week, I'd say, like reels and stuff. I'm showing the process of my commissions. But in terms of short form content and reels, I don't really upload anything other than that unless I'm doing like the odd workshop or like a preparation video for that or an exhibition or something. But I want to show more of my kind of YouTube artist vlog style videos in the form of a reel or short content. And I think short form content can reach people quicker. I think short form content is important if you're going to be going down the route of working with brands and stuff, because they really look for that hook and how you edit something and whether you've got voiceovers or how quick it is, how snappy it is, the quality. And I've worked with Frame It, which is an app for artists if they want to create like art mock-ups. And I've also worked with Wix, which is a website builder, which was amazing. And I've got some things coming up next year as well with a different brand, but they all look at the short form content. And if they like the quality of it and how you edit something, they're more likely to want to work with you or approach you to begin with. So there are a few things that I've just been reflecting on really over this past year. Just some things that I'd probably do a little bit differently and some things that I'm going to change or take into next year as well. But yeah, I'm still very much on with the Christmas commissions. What day is it today? I'm recording this on Monday the 9th, but this will go out on Wednesday the 11th. But I've still got a lot of commissions to do. I've done the main bulk of them. I'm trying to get the big ones out of the way first, and then I can just finish off the little ones. But yeah, it's very full on at the minute, hence why you've got a shorter episode this week. But thought I'd still bring you an episode anyway. I can't break the chain now of consistently uploading every week. So yeah, I've still given you an episode, but it's just slightly shorter. So I hope you've enjoyed listening to this episode. If you've been watching on YouTube, I'd love it if you could subscribe to my channel to watch more art-related content like future episodes and the artist vlogs that I've been talking about. And if you've been listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, I'd love it if you could leave a 5-star review, share it, comment, and yeah, everything just helps to push the podcast. Thank you for listening. I hope some of you can relate to some of the things that I've said. Hope you're all hanging on in there on the run up to Christmas, and yeah, I'll be back next week, probably even more stressed, but it's fine. Positive vibes. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you next week.